talking about inequalities and solving equations with inequalities. And the one thing I want you to know is when you arrive at an answer such as 68 is less than or equal to D, I want you to use the set builder notation of, and use brackets, D such that D is greater than or equal to 68. So this line means such that. So all values of D such that D is greater than or equal to 68. And you are going to graph it. If it has the equal sign under the inequality, you're going to color in the dot. If there is no equal sign under the inequality, then it would be an open circle. And since D is bigger than or greater than 68, your arrow is going to go this way. Okay, so want to make sure that you use the set builder notation so that you're familiar with it. In addition to knowing how to represent your solutions to these kinds of problems, there are some properties of multiplication and division that need to be applied when you are solving these kinds of equations. So for example, if we have a problem like negative 3/4 J is greater than or equal to 12. The rule is that when you are going to solve a problem and you are going to multiply or divide, when multiplying or dividing both sides by a negative, you must flip the direction of the inequality. So make sure that you keep that in mind every single time you're solving a problem. Flip the direction of the inequality. So for example, in solving this problem, whenever I look at a problem, the first thing I do is when I see a negative anywhere, I draw an arrow so that it reminds me to pay attention to whether I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative. And to solve this equation, we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of negative 3/4. So right now, I'm multiplying both sides by a negative 4/3. So I'm going to have to change the direction. I do that first so I don't forget. And then, of course, this cancels with that, and I end up with J is less than or equal to negative 16. And note that I flip the direction of the inequality. A way to look at why do we have to flip the sign if we're going to multiply both sides by a negative. Well, if you were to take the original problem, negative 3/4 J is greater than 16, and we picked out a number because we flipped it. So if we pick out a number smaller than 16 and we try 20, it works. Negative 3/4 times negative 20 is greater than or equal to 16 because we end up with a 5 here, and 15 is greater than or equal to 16, so it works. 15 is greater than or equal to Okay, so 15 is not greater than 16. So it doesn't work if we pick a number that is greater than negative 16. So I changed I had 16 here, and the original problem is 12. So if I choose a number that is smaller than negative 16, which I chose as negative 20, then when I solve the problem, I get 15 is greater than 12, which is true. So if I had not turned this, I would have had to have put in a number bigger than negative 16, and it wouldn't have worked out when plugging in the numbers into the original equation. So if I plug in a j of negative 20, which is smaller than negative 16, I get positive 15, which is greater than 12, which was the original value in the original equation. And to graph this equation, j is less than or equal to negative 16. We need to draw a number line. You don't have to put a whole bunch of lines on it, but you should put 0 and arrows on the end. Go to a place that you're going to call negative 16. Because you have the less than or equal to, you're going to make a solid dot. And if it's less than, it's going to point to the left. And that's your graph for that problem.